Oh,
Amairo chocolate.
there it is. Interesting. So, I thought the act was going to end, or the arc was going to end after we went through the fair. But I guess we aren't going to experience the fair in Ichika's route? Or, who knows, maybe we will? Maybe we will? Or we're going to in Nana's route. I don't know. After classes, I go to Sweet's Tale with Ichika, but I did say that we would get into Ichika's route at the end of that arc. The Valentine's Day fair starts today. Is there anything I should particularly focus on? Okay, so there's my answer. We're going to have Valentine's Day fairs. We're going to have 2 different ones. No, actually, no, 3 different ones for each character, right?
そうですね。バレンタインフェアの商品は通常の商品よりちょっとお値段が高いですから、お客さんも無意識に相応の接客を求めます。普段手を抜いているというわけではないですけど、気持ち丁寧に対応してください。
I understand. Take extra care when serving fair food, fair goods. I'll think of this as a chance to practice my customer service skills.
そうですね。付け焼き場ではいけませんから。あと、もちろんすべてのお客さんがバレンタインフェアの商品を購入されるわけではありません。そういったお客さんにフェアをアピールすることも大事な仕事です。
In general, what this means is mentioning the fair and giving them a flyer with along with their order. We've been handing them out since a few days before the fair started, and of course, that will continue throughout the fair. The fair is set to go until Valentine's Day, and we're hoping to attract repeat customers during that period. When we get to the front of the shop, we can already see customers walking out with with special Valentine's Day fair bags. Those customers pass by other customers just heading into the shop.
今日は忙しくなりそうですね。いらっしゃいませ。はい、フォンダンショコラが2つですね。
I have worked here for a while, but the volume of orders for the fair limited items is more than I'm used to. It's a weekday, so the rush isn't that bad, but it does feel more crowded in here than usual. There are a few women in suits. Considering the time of day, I wonder if they're heading home from work.
こちら商品になります。フォンダンショコラは温めてお召し上がりください。ありがとうございました。商品補充するからちょっとどいてくれ。
Nana comes in and restocks the Valentine's Day showcase with a veteran speed. We wouldn't normally be restocking it so soon, but we were selling out fast, so this is perfect timing. Good work. You really seem like one of the kitchen staff now, huh?
本当だぜ。バイト代上げてもらうよ。今度店長に直訴するわ。
Nana wanders back towards the kitchen, muttering something about how the weekend is going to be even busier. Meanwhile, we need to take care of our own duties.
いらっしゃいま。
Ichika's eyes go wide when she sees the woman who just walked in. I don't know what breed of dog they're from. They're from? You mean they are? But she has dog ears coming out of her head, and a bushy tail sticks out from the back of her tight office skirt.
こんばんは。奇遇ですね。
The woman is surprised for a moment, and then she greets Ichika warmly, as if they know each other. Actually, they probably do know each other. The way she treats Ichika with such polite deference. Deference? Despite clearly being older than her, has to be because of Ichika's position.
こんばんは。いらっしゃいませ。
Ichika responds in kind with a smile of her own, but it feels a little strained to me somehow.
彼には手作りチョコを送るつもりなんですけど、スイートテールの参考にできないかと思って。
なら、ガトーショコラなんていかがですか？お店レベルとはいかなくても、材料と器具があれば、お家でも作れますよ。
いいですね。
They don't seem hostile to one another, at least, as they discuss what would make her partner happy. I observe the woman from the side, and she seems to be glowing a little.
すみません。じゃあ、ガトーショコラと生チョコを。
We take her order, pack it into a box, and ring her up. Here's your order. Please take a look at the flyer for the fairground if you like.
どうも。
Thank you very much. The woman seems quite pleased when she accepts her bag. Other than her reaction to seeing Ichika, she was a normal customer.
さあ、閉店まで気を抜かずに頑張りましょう。
Right. Sus. I'm still not sure why Ichika reacted the way she did. But the customers keep coming right up until closing time, so I never get the chance to ask about that lady. There were even more customers than I expected. The Valentine's Day rush really is amazing.
初日ですからね。初めの方と週末、終わり際が忙しくなると思います。
I see. I wonder what the customers will do with the chocolate they buy here at Sweet's Tale. Maybe they'll give them to their lovers, or people dear to them, or maybe they'll eat them themselves. It's really moving to think about how the chocolates we've sold will be given to the most important people in their lives. But
まだバレンタインデーまで日がありますし、日持ちしない商品も多いですから。
still a lot of these folks are eating the chocolates themselves.
ですね。
Themselves. It's a bit of a departure from the original concept of Valentine's Day. Then again, the idea that it's specifically about women giving chocolate is primarily a Japanese one anyway. It's true that Valentine's Day exists mainly as an excuse to sell chocolate products, but you could also say it's an excuse to buy them.
ナナちゃんなら、バレンタインなんてお菓子メーカーの陰謀だって言いそうですね。
I'm glad that I'm not the only one who says this.
だけど、需要が全くなければ定着はしなかったんじゃないかと思います。祖母から聞いた話なんですけど、バレンタインって昔は全然流行らなかったらしいですし。
What? Really?
はい。私が生まれる前、いえ、母も生まれていない何十年も前の話だそうですが。
According to Ichika's grandmother, the department stores and candy makers put out advertisements and such, but back then, no one really paid it any mind. In those days, chocolate wasn't even the focus of the event. Valentine's Day, as it currently stands, came to be after a period of major economic growth in Japan.
それまではバレンタインデーを愛の日として恋人や夫に贈り物をする日として宣伝していました。あくまでメインの贈り物は別で、お菓子はそのおまけみたいな売り方だったそうです。ですが女の子たちはバレンタインデーを恋の日、告白の日に変えたんです。
I've heard that there used to be more arranged marriages than love-based marriages. The idea that the man should be the one doing the proposing was the same then as it is now, and the belief that it should be the man who takes the initiative when it comes to romance is still going strong even now. In an era when those trends are even stronger than they are now, women decided to take action according to Ichika.
女の子たちはバレンタインデーを意中の男の子に思いを伝えるチャンスにしました。切ない気持ちに甘いチョコレートを添えて、バレンタインのチョコレートが恋の代名詞になったのはそれからのことです。
So that's why. I already knew, or at least I thought I knew about a lot about Valentine's Day, and I had no idea about any of this.
きっかけは確かに企業の宣伝だったかもしれません。でも日本のバレンタインを生んだのは女の子の恋心だった。そう思うととっても素敵じゃないですか？
Yes, it is. Ichika gives me an adorable, soft smile. She's so cute that it's like my heart is being squeezed in a light, fluffy vice. I can't explain why, but I feel like I want to see that smile more, want to treasure it.
義理チョコが登場するのはまたその後ですね。こちらは企業の戦略が大きいかもしれませんが。
Maybe the idea came from someone who just wanted chocolate, even if there were no feelings behind them. Even if there were no feelings behind them, they could at least get something. Ichika smiles darkly at the idea of my hypothetical chocolate-loving PR executive's master plan. I wonder if any of today's customers will be giving their chocolates to the people they love.
いてもらわないと売る側としては寂しいですよ。
Yeah, that's true. We are, of course, perfectly happy if the customers eat the chocolates themselves, but since it is Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day and all, we do feel some desire to see them used for their intended purpose. I hope that Sweet's Tale's chocolate can bring someone success in their love confession tonight.
ですね。
Although, even if they do succeed, there's no way we'll ever know.
ですね。
How would to help people's love blossom, even though I'll never see it for myself. That's a lie. Our conversation hits a pause, and we end up looking silently into each other's eyes. We've been talking face to face, so now that the talking part has stopped, here we are. What she said. Yet we can't take our eyes off each other. If for some reason there's a subtle red blush on Ichika's face, and my own feels warm too. I'm not sure if we're paralyzed or if time had stopped, but even though I know that neither of those are possible, I keep getting pulled into her gaze.
恋とかバレンタインとかそんなことばっかりお話しして恥ずかしいな。
Well, it's work related, so we have to do it right. We have to do it right.
あ、そうだね。仕事だもんね。
I don't know what to say. I've run out of words. But this isn't an uncomfortable situation. It's not, and yet. Ichika lowers her eyes, a kind of sad expression on her face. Ichika?
いえ、なんでも。
The air between us has never felt this way before, and the only thing I can think of is what happened in Sweet's Tale earlier today. Could it be that beast folk woman who was here earlier? Is she someone you've got an uncomfortable history with?
いえいえ、まさかそんな明るくてとってもいい人ですよ。
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. That's what my impression of her was, too.
母の仕事の関係でお会いした方です。スイートテイルに来られるとは思ってなかったので、少し驚いてしまいました。あちらも私が働いているとは知らなかったんだと思いますけど。
Considering Ichika's position, it wouldn't be unusual for her to know pretty much every beast folk living in Unigicho. But surely some of them have come to Sweetstown before, so I have to wonder why she was so surprised to see this particular person. And if she really was just surprised, then what's with the cloudy look on Ichika's face?
よ
What?
後ろから声かけられたぐらいでビビんなよ。
Sorry. It's normal to be surprised when someone talks to you while you're thinking about something. Yeah.
ナナちゃん、明日の仕込みは終わったの？
もち、さっさと帰りたかったから本気で終わらせたぜ。それよりお前ら、もしかしてイチャイチャしてたのか？
I don't know what you're talking about. No, not at all. Ichika nods in agreement with a hasty denial.
ならいいんだけど。
It's fine. I guess Nana thinks of me as just another pest hovering around Ichika. I feel like I've been getting along well with both Ichika and Nana, so I have to admit, this kind of hurts. But now that she's brought it up, I can't get it off my mind. Ichika's looking my way too. Our eyes meet, but we immediately avert our gazes.
やっぱイチャイチャしてねえか？
No. Not at all.
そうだよ。イチャイチャなんてしてないよ。
You didn't need to bring that up. You didn't say that.
ふーん。
She used a different word that also technically means flirting. Nana looks us over dubiously for a few seconds.
ま、そういうことにしとくか。チョコのあまり食う？
I'll pass.
甘ショコ。
Ama Choco. Okay. I mean, I'm not foreign to the abbreviation. You know, I use it to title my thumbnails, but I'm surprised that they're using it. One day.
おはようございます。
Especially since I'm used to hearing Chieri and Mikuri say Amairo chocolate. Good morning. Running into each other in the dorm is common enough, and since we don't have anything we need to discuss, we could just greet one another and keep going. But I don't want to leave Ichika yet. I want to talk to her some more, so I rack my brain trying to think of something to talk to her about. So, Ichika stands there, as if she's waiting for me to say something, though that might just be wishful thinking on my part. Nice weather, isn't it?
ですね。
Oh man, that weather is so great, isn't it, guys? I'm not able to come up with anything substantial, forcing myself to confront my own miserable conversation skills. So, see you later.
はい。
Later on.
今日もお疲れ様でした。
You too, Ichika. It's getting pretty late. Do you want to grab a little something to eat?
いいですね。じゃあ、焼きアーモンドなんかどうですか？
Sounds like a plan. Here you are.
ありがとうございます。
I got them to put everything into a big bag for the two of us to share. I had some with Kaguya before, but roasted almonds are just great to snack on. The almonds from this cart are nice and warm, and the scent of the caramelized sugar is delightful. I feel like this is all we've been eating lately.
食 食べやすくて美味しいですからね。味は本場にも負けてませんよ。
They're from Germany, right? Have you been there?
昔一度だけ両親について行ったことがあるんです。旅行じゃなくて仕事だったんですけど。
Unlucky. Oh, wow. Now that you mention it, I think my father went there for work one time too. I think my mother may have gone with him. What was Germany like? Sausages everywhere? Okay, I mean, I understand that Germany's cuisine is known for sausages, but I don't think, I don't think it's that limited.
はい、世界中のソーセージがドイツに集まってるんじゃないかっていうくらいいろんな種類がありました。
Never mind, maybe it is that limited.
ビールもたくさんあってお父さんとお母さんはビールとソーセージで乾杯してましたね。
The sausage was in the beer. It sounds like Germany is exactly like I imagined. We head home together, and I listened to Ichika tell stories of one of the far-off foreign countries that inspired Unikicho. I reached for another roasted almond and... Oh, you touched hands. Ichika reaches for one at the same time, and our fingertips brush up against each other. We both scramble to pull our hands away. I'm sorry.
こちらこそすみません。お先にどうぞ。
Oh, no, please, you first. We end up in a weird place where we're both insisting so hard on letting the other go that neither of us could reach in. But more importantly, Ichika's fingers were so warm. Our fingertips barely touched, and yet I can still feel hers against my own. Why are women's hands so soft, I wonder? Ichika averts her gaze as her face turns pink with embarrassment. Seeing her expression knocks the breath out of me.
私用事があるんでした。お先に失礼しますね。
Shit, she's pulling a Chieri. Huh? I don't know if she's telling the truth or not, but she jogs away as if fleeing from me. The roasted almonds we bought aren't even half eaten. Not knowing what else to do, I pop an almond into my mouth. Yeah, that's tasty. Cries in copium. So that was the thing that happened. So that just happened. And the distance between myself and Ichika remains.
お持ち帰りですね。ご注文は生チョコとオペラと。
Look, at least unlike with Chieri, Ichika is able to put up a front to hide. She's able to converse with Yuzuki. How would I say? She's able to converse with Yuki without running away. You know what? I'll just keep it simple. She doesn't run away like Chieri does. She can at least talk to him for a few minutes before doing that. Because she might get an emergency call at any time, Ichika has the manager's permission to keep her smartphone on her while she's working. When she looks at the notification on her phone, her expression shifts.
すみません。あとお願いします。
Before I can even say okay, Ichika has already rushed out of the back. So I pack the order into a box and end up serving several more groups of customers before Ichika finally returns.
ごめんなさい。用事でバイトを抜けます。代わりに急いでナナちゃんに来てもらいますので。
I understand. Even though I want to ask what's going on, I can't. So that's the only answer I can get.
本当にごめんなさい。
Ichika looks like she wants to say something more, but she hurries out without another word. And Nana arrives at Sweet's Tale soon after. and we head back to the dorm together once our shift ends. But even now that the day's over, there's still no sign of Ichika.
そろそろ寝たらどうだ？ボディーガードもいるんだから心配しなくてもいいと思うぞ。
That's true, I guess.
それにお前がまた倒れたらどうすんだ？獣人でもさすがに寒いぞ。
Well, good thing you're here to keep me warm. Wait, no, I can't say that. This is Ichika's route. I'm sorry.
好きにしろ。私はもう寝る。
Okay, good night. I understand there's no good reason for me to stay up, but I can't convince myself not to. Ichika ends up getting back to the dorm a little later than a little bit after 1 a.m. Ichika's deep sigh turns the winter night white. My own limbs are pretty cold, but Ichika looks even worse than I feel. Welcome back.
待っていてくれたんですね。ごめんなさい。
Don't worry, I couldn't sleep, so I figured I might as well wait. So what was...
おっと、それは言えませんよ。個人情報ですから。
Ichika shuts down my question with a smile.
寝る前にホットミルクでも作りましょうか。こんな遅くまで待っていたら体冷えましたよね。
No, I'm okay.
じゃあ早く寝ましょう。おやすみなさい。
When Ichika says goodnight to me, her smile makes me forget all about my waiting and worrying. Well, the one thing I don't dare ask myself is whether I have the right to be absorbed in that smile. I woke up pretty early, despite how late I was up last night. The weather outside was nice and clear, unlike my feelings last night. The contrast only serves to remind me of the maelstrom within my heart.
おはようございます。
Hey, good morning. And despite yesterday's events, Ichika shows me her usual smile, which actually leaves me at a loss. Am I the only one feeling uneasy here?
どうかされましたか？
No, it's nothing. I'm just a little sleepy.
昨日は遅かったですからね。私も眠いです。
We don't discuss the previous night any further. I'm sure Ichika wouldn't answer any of my questions. I can almost hear her smile telling me not to ask. Actually, what good would it do if I knew? I can't help her. All I could do is stick my nose into her business and get in the way. Oh, good morning.
ねえねえ、ゆずきくん。バレンタインはどんなチョコが欲しい？
Uh-oh. What?
はあ、その話、まだできてなかったね。
We try to explain once again that Valentine's Day chocolates are for the man you love, but...
ゆずきくんのこと好きだからチョコあげるんだよ。いちかちゃんもチョコあげるんでしょ？そのつもりだけど。じゃあ、いちかちゃんもゆずきくんのこと好きなんじゃないの？
This is why Mikuri is best girl, alright? She's just the best. It feels like a huge bomb has been dropped. Ichika peeks over at me.
どうしたの？なんでも。好きだよ。ゆずきさんとは一緒にバイトもしてるし。だよね。
Ichika's face turns red as she grows increasingly disconcerted. I'm pretty sure I'm turning the same color.
でもね、バレンタインの好きは男女の好きという意味で。男女の好き？
好きにも種類があるの？
そうなの。恋の好きって言えばいいのかな。好きの中でも特別な好きなんだ。
I mean, it was the kind of love that led to the harem scene at the end of Amairo Chocolate 1, so, you know.
特別な好き。
She's listening with a serious expression on her face, but does she really understand?
じゃあいちかちゃんの好きはどの好きなの？
Bomb number 2. Ichika looks toward me awkwardly. My face and my body heat when our eyes meet. Heat up when our eyes meet. It feels like my heart is either going to seize up from tension or explode from overexertion. Ichika remains silent, her face still bright red. If she does love me in that way, then she just needs to say so. Though I'm not sure how I would react if she did say that. Don't worry, Ichika. I'm sure Nana will enter the lobby and save you from confessing your love to Yuzuki right now.
ゆずきくんはいちかちゃんのこと好き？
And there's the third bomb. Any hopes of remaining cool, calm, and / all collected have just been blown to little bits. What's that got to do with Valentine's Day?
チョコは好きな人にあげるんでしょ？なら自分のこと好きじゃない人にあげるのってなんか不公平じゃない？
Well, that's why the guy does it a month later. That might be true, but if you ask me if I love Ichika, then I'd say...
あのね、みくりちゃん。実は好きじゃない人にもチョコをあげていいの。
Well, that's one way to circumvent answering the question.
特別な好きの人しかあげちゃいけないんじゃなかったの？
それは本命の一番大事なチョコの話でね。義理チョコって言って普段お世話になっている男の人にあげるチョコもあるの。好きだけど特別な好きじゃない人にも義理チョコをあげたりするんだよ。
Ichika, you're confusing Makuri.
へえ、バレンタインっていろいろあるんだね。
Makuri nods happily, welcoming what will be her first Valentine's Day.
じゃあゆずきくんには義理チョコをあげればいいんだね。
どんなチョコがいいかは自分で考えた方がゆずきさんも喜ぶんじゃないかな。
そっか、じゃあそうする。じゃあね。
Well, the storm that is Makuri drifts away from with a wave of her hand and tail, which leaves just Ichika and myself. Crap, this is getting awkward.
ですね。私はゆずきさんのこと、私は
Ichika's flushed face begins to cool down, and she looks downward apologetically.
私、ゆずきさんのこと。
The elation I was feeling disappears in an instant, just like when we were coming home that one time.
ゆずきさんは私のチョコ欲しいですか？
When Ichika asked me that, there isn't a hint of embarrassment or shyness in her face. Instead, she's wearing an expression profoundly unsuited for a day of love. When I see how sorrowful she looks, I can't find it in my heart to ask for chocolate. Ichika, why do you have that look on your face?
私、どんな顔ですか？
You look like you're in mourning.
きっかけは確かに企業の宣伝だったかもしれません。でも日本のバレンタインを生んだのは女の子の恋心だった。そう思うととっても素敵じゃないですか？
Ichika looked so happy when she was talking about Valentine's Day before, and yet right now she looks utterly heartbroken. At this rate, I can't imagine Ichika celebrating Valentine's Day with a smile on her face.
昨日遅かったから疲れているのかもしれませんね。今日は早めに寝ることにします。
Okay, I understand. I quietly resolved to learn about whatever might be imprisoning Ichika's heart. But
床掃除した後なので足元気をつけてくださいね。
okay, I understand. Ichika ends up flying into my arms, her face landing against my chest. Are you alright? You literally warned me about the floor being slippery, so how did you slip?
はい。ゆずきさんこそ平気ですか？
Yeah, it's no big deal. But our faces are so close. I see myself reflected in her jewel-like eyes. This woman, a living masterpiece who would be the envy of the greatest patissiers, is staring into my face from the closest vantage point physically possible. Our bodies touch, and I can feel her softness through the light fabric of her sweet style uniform.
すみません。
Ichika's face turns bright red as she scurries away from me. I relax, but I also feel disappointed as she runs off.
ピカピカにしすぎでしたね。
How does this keep happening? Uh-huh. Where's Ichika? It felt like she was just here. Just as I'm thinking that I need to follow her quickly. Follow her quickly if I want to catch sight of her. The moment that I turn the corner. What? While Ichika may be slender, she's still a beast frog, so we both end up on our butts after we collide. I got up in a hurry and offer her my hand. Sorry, are you alright? What's the matter?
ああ、いえ。私の読んでる漫画にこんなシーンがあった気がして。
Which one? You know how many fucking romance mangas there are?
古典的ではありますけど、なんだかいいですね。
Manga, not mangas. There's no S. Ichika smiles awkwardly as a light blush spreads across her face. Not as cool as the guys in manga, but it makes me happy to know she thinks of me that way.
それじゃあ失礼して。
Ichika's hand is so small compared to mine that it looks like a doll's hand. I take her porcelain-like hand and help her stand up.
ありがとうございます。
What did you buy, Ichika?
文房具を買ってきただけですけど。
When I take a look, the bag she has in her hands is indeed from a nearby stationery store. Oh, I see. Sorry.
ゆずきさんは？
Oh, well, you know, just went to the convenience store. I'm doing my best to keep an eye on Ichika, but so far I've seen nothing but trivial events, and I'm no closer to finding out what happened to her.
甘ショコ。
Listen, I don't think you're gonna find out for a while, alright? Until the morning of one particular day. Oh, never mind. Maybe I should have said that before the transition. That's... Ichika is talking to someone outside. The man that she's speaking to is tall with broad shoulders. Looks to be pretty strong and is wearing a black suit. And he's a dog. He has dog ears and a tail, so he's a beast folk. I quickly throw on my clothes and head down, but they're gone. Did she go off somewhere with the man? Or did she go back to her room after they finished their conversation?
ゆずきさん？
What? When I turn around, Ichika's standing there, a puzzled expression on her face. She has a can of milk tea in her hand. It looks like she just brought it from the vending machine.
どうしました？
I saw you speaking to someone I didn't know, and I got a little curious.
その人は母の会社の部下ですよ。今は母が不在なので、私が指示することになってるんです。一応跡取りですので。
Nana had mentioned that Hyunika had black-suited underlings, so I guess the person I saw just now is one of them. It's weird asking this now, but is Hyunika the CEO?
母はいろんな会社を経営しているんです。一番大きいのは不動産業でして、この夕凪町にも母の所有している土地や建物は多いんですよ。
I can't believe I was right. I fucking said that she was a landlord in the first game. I mean, saying that she owns a real estate business is definitely a more professional way of explaining it, but she's a landowner, not just the landlord, right? She owns the plot of land that the building is on top of, not just the building. I don't think it's to be an exaggeration to call her the power behind the throne. She must possess a tremendous amount of influence and money. But she's so down to earth that I never would have suspected that from meeting her in person. Listen, I didn't even meet her in person, and I knew that she would be very fucking powerful, considering she owns Sataria and Sweet's Tale, and is very much tied to the politics around Beast Folk. It must be pretty tough. It must be tough having to help out with the company too.
いえいえ、必要なことですから。
Ichika and I part ways, and after she leaves the dorm, she heads straight for the town square. Today I'll see for myself what's going on. Ichika just had a conversation with one of Hinaka's company employees, so her situation might involve them. They might continue their conversation somewhere else.
すみません。
Oh, it's that Todelnik shop we stopped at before.
シナモンバニラソフトとナッツチョコソフトください。
She's getting two? Yeah, the only reason she didn't get two before was because her other hand was already filled with dango. She already had dango in her other hand. One is already pretty big by itself, but getting two, and both with ice cream in them? Ichika's all smiles as she accepts the treats in both hands.
甘い。バニラもチョコも美味しいです。シナモンやナッツとの相性もいいですね。最後の一口まで美味でした。
And both of the Todelnik are gone in the blink of an eye.
さすがにちょっと冷えますね。
Really, it's almost like you had ice cream in February. I think that's natural considering how much ice cream you just ate. Ichika's next destination is a place I'm very familiar with by now, Mochizuki. Ichika's white fluffy tail wags as she enters the shop. I wonder if she has business with Mitsuki. Yeah. She'll be giving her a lot of money today, let's just say. I wait a little while before I head in.
いらっしゃいま。あ、お兄ちゃん。さっきいちかさんも。
Thank God Kaguya is so soft-spoken. Ichika would never heard Kaguya say Oni-chan. I'm sorry, but please keep this a secret from Ichika. And can you give me a table that's not too close to hers?
はあ、わかりました。
Despite the confused look on her face, Kaguya does as I ask, and leads me to a suitable table. I order a dango set for myself and begin watching over Ichika at her table.
店員さん。はい、お伺いします。
She's just ordering like a normal customer.
お汁粉お願いします。お餅の追加は。迷うけど、3つで。3つだと結構多いですけど、大丈夫ですか？
Kaguya, you say this like she didn't order one of everything on the menu before. Yeah, she hasn't ordered one of everything on the menu in one sitting before.
全然いけます。
Kaguya looks a little worried, but Ichika looks ready to rumble, or at least her stomach is.
温まります。
Ichika enjoys this warm, sweet shirako, easily devouring it along with the mochi. But Ichika, who ate so much the other day, isn't about to stop here.
すいません。追加であんこと黒ごまのお団子を。はい。
Ichika's immense order finally arrives, and Kaguya trembles in the presence of the white fluffy food tyrant. When Ichika leaves Mochizuki, she heads for the park. Is she going to meet someone? No, not at all.
クレープクレープ。
Ichika sits down on the bench and smacks her lips at the limited time hot chocolate crepe that she just bought. Oh, that sounds good. How would that work? 'Cause, okay, you know, the components of a hot chocolate, just what? Chocolate, milk, I guess, cream if you add it, marshmallows if you add that as well. It's very simple, and that's the best part about it, right? But how would a hot chocolate crepe work, and what makes it different from just a regular chocolate crepe, right? Like, okay, you know what? Never mind. So going over what I've discovered today, I've learned that Ichika, wrong vowel, really likes to eat. And you also learned that the first time around. But that only applies to sweets. She's been eating nothing but desserts. I've discovered why Ichika's appearance and voice are so sweet. Her entire body is infused with sugar. She's probably the type of person who deals with her stress by eating. I wonder exactly how many calories Ichika has consumed today. Probably don't want to look. Probably don't want to think about it. I decided I'd rather not try to calculate it.
出来たてほかほかのクレープにあったかチョコレートソース。外で食べるとより美味しいですね。
You know, if this was America, he would easily clear like over 10,000 calories. Right, but because this is Japan, and presumably the ingredients are a lot simpler, right? You know, it's not filled with anything unnecessary. Maybe like 5,000. So, still double, if not triple, the daily recommended amount of calories, but still half of what you would get if you ordered as much as Ichika in America.
ごちそうさまでした。チョコたっぷりで満足です。
With both her stomach and her heart full, Ichika looks very happy. The smile on her face is like a dessert that's starting to melt. All I ate was the dango, but my stomach and heart are full too.
あ、そうだ。自分へのお土産も買いたいな。
She's still going? Well, yeah, she hasn't had dinner yet. It's said that people's desires are endless. When it comes to Ichika's desire for sweets, that seems very true. Ichika gets up from the bench she was sitting on, and as she does, the handkerchief she was holding flutters to the ground. But she walks off, unaware that she's dropped it. Should I talk to her or not? If I reveal myself now, she might realize that I've been watching her the entire hut this whole time. But picking it up and then giving it to her later would feel really unnatural. It would be weird that I knew it was hers. And there's no way I could just leave it there. But the more I agonize over the decision, the farther away Ichika gets. Well then, you dropped your handkerchief, milady. I acted on the spur of the moment, and that line somehow popped out of my mouth. Ichika turns to me before I have any time to be embarrassed by it.
Yuzuki-san?
What a coincidence! It's not a coincidence of any kind, but I respond as best as I can while trying not to compose myself. Maintain my composure.
ゆずきさん、最近よく外でも会いますね。
Is that surprising? Is it that surprising? We do live in the same dorm, so we end up hanging around the same places.
そうかな、あるかな。ゆずきさんはお散歩？
Yeah, just kind of wondering. How about you, Ichika?
はい、私もブラブラと広場に行ったり、望月に寄ったりですね。
She doesn't mention the Tredilnik. Well, she didn't mention the Dango. What do you mean? He said she went to the town square. It doesn't... And she said she went to Mochizuki. In neither of those instances did she mention what she ate. And she casually starts crumbling up the paper crepe wrapper in her hands, and trying to hide it from my sight.
振り返ったらゆずきさんだったので、ドキッとしちゃいました。
She's just embarrassed about how much she ate today, and she doesn't want to tell you. Did it really?
ほら、ハンカチから始まる出会いってお話だとあるじゃないですか。
Not much of an encounter if you already know the person who picked it up, is it?
もしかしたらこんな出会い方もあったのかもって一瞬そう思ったんです。もしもチラシを配っていたのがちえりちゃんじゃなくて私だったら、あるいはゆずきさんが直接セタリアに来ていたら。
Well, the only guarantee there would be that if you were the one handing out flyers instead of Chieri, you would have been the second. You would have been route number 2 in Amairo Chocolate 1. But, you know, you're at least route number 3. If we're going to include all of the Amairo chocolates into a single session, I don't know how you'd call it, but Ichika would be number 3. So, you know, not that different. Who knows what would have happened? I try to imagine it, but I'm not sure if I can. I'm sure that in any case, there would have been quite the commotion when I noticed when I noticed their ears. But I feel like it still would have worked out in the end. Well, hey, how about we try it now?
何をですか？
A fated encounter, starting with a handkerchief.
ちょっと楽しそうですね。じゃあやってみましょうか。
I sit down on the bench and Ichika takes a few steps away. She looks over at me as if to ask, is this far enough? Maybe we should have planned this out more. Once she gets to a reasonable distance, Ichika turns her back to me and our little production begins. You dropped your handkerchief, milady.
はい。
Ichika turns toward me when I speak to her. Just as I expected, the look of mild surprise on her face is so natural that it's hard for me to believe that she's not acting. Doesn't this handkerchief belong to you?
あ、本当だ。わざわざありがとうございます。
You're very welcome. I owe this handkerchief a debt of gratitude, for it gave me the opportunity to speak with a lady as lovely as yourself. Okay, you're pushing it a bit. I feel like I just spouted the corniest line ever, but Ichika is all smiles.
わざとらしすぎですよ。
Yeah, I thought so too. Let me try it a little more naturally. And so, take two. You dropped your handkerchief. It is yours, right?
ありがとうございます。これ、母からもらったものなんですよ。
Then I'm glad you didn't lose it. It is pretty cute, kind of like you. Oh, she's laughing again.
やっぱり褒めるんですね。またキザになってますよ。
I feel like that was pretty normal this time.
じゃあ、ゆずきさんが元からキザなんですね。
Really? I mean, I'll agree with the oblivious part. Ichika smiles pleasantly at me as I tilt my head to one side, unconvinced. It's pretty unusual for Ichika to tease someone, so I feel like we've gotten even closer. Ichika's smile seems a little sad, and I can't help but feel like she might end up going far away from me.
さあ、おやつの時間ですね。チェコの蜂蜜のケーキなんてどうですか？
You're going to eat more?
まだ？まるで見てたみたいに。
I don't know what you're talking about, Ichika. I only just got here. I only saw you eat a crepe. Well, you see, I know from first-hand experience that Mochizuki wouldn't have been enough for you, and you would have eaten a lot. And you would have eaten at other places along the way.
もう、ひどいです。まるで人を食欲魔人みたいに。
Well, is he wrong? I'm sorry. Though the gluttonous part isn't wrong, even if it is only for sweets. I think I've managed to cover my tracks. But although we remain together until we head back to the dorm, I still haven't been able to figure out what it is that's troubling Ichika. Was I just worried for no reason, based on a groundless fear? If it's already been taken care of, that's fine, and that's certainly what I'm hoping for. But at some point, I stopped seeing that face. But the expression that I saw on Ichika, I wasn't just imagining it, was I? There's a knock on my door. It opens before I can respond, and someone enters.
お邪魔します。
Ichika? Ichika has never come into my room uninvited like this before. She seems to be wearing her usual smile, but it feels colder than normal somehow. She just had two how do you even say? She had two turtlenecks, I guess.
少しお話がありまして、ゆずきさんに質問と説明を。まず一つ、ゆずきさん、最近私を尾行していましたね。
Where would you, how would you, where, yes. Yes, I'm sorry. I was worried about you. I'm sure she's only confirming that what she already knows, so there's no point in trying to be evasive. Honestly, it's kind of a miracle that it took this long for her to confront me over my awkward attempts to follow her.
犬の獣人なのにすぐに気づけないなんて私も不覚でした。ゆずきさんのことを鈍感なんて言えませんね。寮で暮らしているからゆずきさんの匂いに慣れすぎたのかもしれません。きっとゆずきさんのことですから私を案じてくれたんだと思いますけど、今後こういったことは慎んでください。これは警告でもあり忠告でもあります。
advice.
ええ、知らなくていいことまで知ってしまうかもしれませんから。
Ichika stares down my grimace with a cold look on her, look of her own, then continues.
ではもう一つ、話すかどうか迷ったのですが、今後のためにも説明しておいた方が良いと思ったので。私は母の代行としてある件を処理しているところです。何だと思いますか？
A beast folk had their ears seen.
はい。耳隠しのお守りを持っていなかったところを目撃されたそうです。
The worst thing that can happen to a beast folk, to have their nature be discovered, and then to have that information spread. I understand that all too well, thanks to my own ability. But isn't there a medicine?
獣人のことをたまたま知っちまったやつには秘伝の薬をくれてやるのさ。獣人のことだけきれいさっぱり忘れる特製の忘れ薬よな。普通はこれで一件落着だ。
Also, Nana said, if that medicine is used, then the true nature of the beast folk will remain concealed. Well, I would... That is true, but I have a feeling that there was more than one person who saw the ears, right? But I have a bad feeling about this.
ええ、無関係の人間に見られたのであれば即座に対応して終わりだったのですが、二人は恋人だったんです。
Oh, even more complex of a situation. It's not that it's not like they were seen in a crowd of people. It's that they've known each other for so long. What?
今回耳を見られた女性は人間の男性と交際していました。このバレンタインに獣人であることを打ち明けたいと相談を受けていたんです。ですがその矢先に
Her secret was revealed unintentionally.
はい。少し前にアパートの部屋の合鍵を渡していたそうですが、うかつでしたね。
She relates the story in such a cold, detached tone. Yeah, it relates. That it's hard to believe she's the same Ichika I know. Are things alright now?
ええ。彼が獣人の存在を他の人間に漏らさないよう、母の部下たちに秘密裏に監視させていますので。
Right. I mean, look, here's the thing, right? There are two ways for beast folk to prevent the spreading of their secret being revealed. That's definitely not the right way to say it. Right? The first way is to fucking make them forget that they ever saw your ears. Right? The second way is to form a connection with them. Right? The only reason why they didn't drug Yuzuki and make him forget about the fact that these girls have ears is because they were wearing the talismans and he could still see them. So it was only a matter of time before he stopped being as oblivious as he was for the past 17 or so years and, you know, stumble across another beast folk with the same animal ears. But because, you know, the human in the situation can't normally see the beast folk ears, it's more iffy whether or not to make him forget that he saw her ears. But they already have a connection, right? They're not just friends, they're not just acquaintances, they're dating each other. So, you know, who's to say that the boyfriend wouldn't be into the animal ears? Hence the black-suited man that I saw. I'm sure that if things had been just a little different in my case, I'd be in the same situation.
ゆずきさんもご存知の通り、 獣人は身内以外の人間に正体を知られてはいけないが掟の内容です。
I was wondering. I was hearing a sound. I was confused as to what it was outside. It's fucking fireworks because there's a Chinese festival going on at the time of this recording session.
裏を返せば、身内の人間、例えば恋人や配偶者には正体を知られてもいいということです。
I know I didn't need to bring it up considering the mic probably doesn't pick up on it, right? But you know.
もちろん、他の人間に獣人のことを黙っていてもらう必要はありますが。
That's all assuming that the partner is able to accept the existence of beast folk in the first place, though. And how did the boyfriend respond? If the boyfriend had been able to accept her, then everything should have turned out okay. Ichika turns her face away from me and looks down at the floor.
驚いた顔をして慌てて帰ってしまったそうです。写真を撮られなかったのは幸いですが。
So you don't know whether or not he still accepts her, right? Who knows? Maybe he was just in such a state of shock because he found out accidentally that not only do beast folk exist, but he was dating one. Maybe he was just too shocked to accept it, and in the moment, he might be fine once it calms down and has things explained to him.
その可能性は否定しません。獣人がこの世に実在するなんて普通は思わないでしょうから。
I mean, to be fair, it is a pretty big, not culture shock. It's a very big world shock. You know, finding out about the existence of an entire fucking species that was living right amongst you, as if they were also human.
ですから今、部下たちの立ち会いのもとで、彼女が彼に獣人のことを説明しているところです。
You know, because they basically are human, except for the fact that they have enhanced physical abilities and can subsist off of a diet purely filled with sweets. I'm pretty sure the beast folk woman who came by Sweet's Tale that one time must also be the one involved in this incident.
彼には手作りチョコを送るつもりなんですけど、スイートテールの参考にできないかと思って。
At that point, her heart was probably aflutter, wondering how to convey her feelings to him. But right now, she...
もし説得できたのなら何も問題はありません。しかし問題は受け入れられなかった時です。その時は
His memories would be erased. Not all of them, of course, just the one specifically related to beast folk. He would forget that she's a beast folk, but he'd still remember knowing her. But if those memories get erased, will they be able to continue being lovers? If they're going to spend their lives together, then she'll have to reveal her true nature sooner or later. If his memories were erased and then he discovers her beast folk heritage again, would his reaction be any different the second time? I mean, maybe? You know, how would I say it? She was planning on doing it anyway. She was planning on revealing her ears and tail to him anyway, in a more controlled environment, right? You know, sit him down, ease him into the topic before, you know, taking off the talisman. But because she was discovered in a very unexpected way, right? You can't really control any of the variables, so it ended up with him finding out and then running away. Right? So Who knows? Maybe erasing his memories will lead to a different result, a different reaction. A more accepting reaction. If they're destined to be split apart, then isn't it futile for them to continue being lovers in the first place? In other words, erasing his memory will mean the end of their relationship.
とはいえ、前倒しにはなりましたが、これは以前から予定していたことでした。彼女がバレンタインに獣人の存在を明かした時に、彼の記憶を消すかどうか決める手はずでしたから。
So what Ichika is saying is that the moment of truth is just coming a little sooner than expected. It's coming in a more chaotic way than expected.
彼女から相談を受けて、彼を監視していましたが、正直、こうなるだろうと思っていました。彼には臆病なところがあるようでしたから。慎重になるようにと何度も言ったのですが、彼女は彼なら大丈夫と信じていましたね。彼女には悪いですが、今となっては楽観的な見方だったと言うしかありません。はい。はい。いろんなケースがあるので気をつけてくださいね。異形として恐れられるケース、動物扱いして下に見るケース、とにかく信じられなくて受け入れられないケース、いろいろあります。
Now I understand what that call was about. I'm sure that the boyfriend in question falls under the first case, but I get a little scared when I think of the other possibilities.
ただ、万が一彼の記憶を消すことができなかった場合は、彼女には夕凪町を出てもらいます。
That's the penalty for failing to deal with the human that she's revealed herself to. Chieri also mentioned this. In the unlikely chance that you fail, is there some kind of penalty? Are you punished if you don't deal with the human who discovered your secret?
確かに私たちに責任が及ぶ可能性はあります。ですが、それは白川さんにうまく対処できなかった場合の話です。心配していただかなくても大丈夫です。
It's not like I hadn't thought about what it might be, but the penalty is pretty much banishment. Well, you know, not the worst punishment you could have, but you do have to upend your entire life if you reveal that you're a beast folk. So I guess it is pretty punishing. I was trying to think of a different word. In order to eliminate all traces of your existence, you have to leave the place you were living in.
一切のつながりを断って、できるだけ遠くへ行ってもらいます。行き先は海外になるかもしれません。
The more that Ichika explains the details, the more I realize how easy things went for me. Well, yeah, it's kind of like you could try to erase his memories, but he's going to find out anyway, so the only other option is to form a connection with him through forcing him to work here. Or upend the life of 4, if not potentially even more beast folk, so they and make them all move in the best case out of Unigicho, in the worst case out of Japan. Is this how it always goes when a beast folk confesses to a human?
はい。獣人が人間に正体を明かす際は、母のような立場の者が付き添う決まりになっています。でも面倒ですし、リスクがありますからね。普通、獣人は獣人同士で恋愛するんです。
Yeah, so, you know, you're kind of the exception there, Yuzuki. if you can't overcome that hurdle, then you can't forge a true bond. I knew there was a bit of distance between beast folk and humans, but I would never have thought that the gap was this wide. Yeah, I would have thought humans were a lot more accepting. I would think humans were a lot more accepting, but I guess there's more normies than I thought. It seems natural when I stop and think about it. I really have no excuse but my own lack of imagination. I'm a human, but I'd like to think I'm getting along with you, with all of you. Yeah, well, with all of you here, so maybe I can convince him.
それは認められません。彼にも彼女にも混乱をきたしますし、ゆずきさんは部外者ですから。
I mean, not directly, but, you know, there are at least 6 degrees of separation between us. Right? Yuzuki to Ichika to her mom to that girl, and then that girl to her boyfriend.
ゆずきさんの場合は、例外的な対応だということを忘れないでください。
But, hey.
それにもう遅いです。
Ichika pulls out her smartphone and begins talking on it via the speakerphone.
どうでしたか？
結論から言うと予想通りでした。獣人のことは理解していただけましたが、終始怪物を見るような目で怯えた様子でした。伴侶になるには厳しいかと。
彼女の様子は
心底落ち込んでいるようでした。
You know shit.
説明の前は記憶を消すことに反対されていましたが、彼の様子を見てからは我々に任せると。
そうですか。では手はず通り記憶を消してください。
Ichika really said that right in front of me. Erase his memory. It wasn't anyone else. It was Ichika Misono, someone I thought I knew very well, who gave that order in that unrecognizably cold voice.
かしこまりました。終わり次第追って連絡します。
This is Ichika's duty. For as long as the beast folk live in human society, there's a vital part of protecting their identities. But when I see what that actually means in reality, I'm at a loss for words.
大丈夫ですよ。忘れるのは獣人のことだけですから。それ以外は何ら変わりません。
Okay. Let me think about this. If this is how it if the reaction that her boyfriend had how it normally goes, then what the fuck is wrong with Yuzuki? Alright? Because like I understand that we as the player know that if Yuzuki had a reaction similar to that, there wouldn't be a fucking Amairo chocolate. So, you know, the fact that he was so accepting of it, even with the fact that Nana joked about eating him, right? That's the difference. That's the big difference. When they sat the boyfriend down to explain about beast folk, they never made a joke about eating him, right? So, like, you know, I understand that the player is going to be a lot more accepting of these characters, considering that you decided to buy the game with the, you know, you decided to buy a game that had 2 characters on it with animal ears. But in this world, the fuck is wrong with Yuzuki? If he had just accidentally found out about the existence of beast folk, that would be one thing. But this is different. This means the end of their relationship. This probably wouldn't have happened if they were both humans, or if they were both beast folk.
この後のことはまた後日検討するとしましょう。彼女には考える時間が必要ですから。ゆずきさんが知りたかったのはきっとこのことだったんじゃないですか？
Yes, this incident has to be what has been getting Ichika down recently. At least I no longer have to worry about what it might be, I guess. But why did you tell your employee to erase his memory while I was standing here? Since I'm not involved, you could have just explained it all to me after it was said and done.
今一度私たちの関係を明確にするためです。警告と忠告と先ほど言いましたね。私とゆずきさんは監視する側と監視される側です。ですが、あまり仲良くするのも考えものですね。その立場を意識しないことが増えてきました。
Well, let's just say you're gonna forget it entirely once you start dating.
だからお互いの立場を確認するためにも、改めて獣人の世界を知ってもらう方が良いと思いました。
The world of the beast folk.
私はいずれ母の後を継ぐつもりです。今もそのいくつかを代行し、獣人や人間への処分を決定、執行する立場にあります。私に近づきすぎると、ゆずきさんも何かの記憶を消されるかもしれませんよ。
Look, I understand that Ichika doesn't know that she'll be dating Yuzuki soon. But all I'm saying is, if Yuzuki was the one to handle the situation, that would give him good experience for when she has to do this more often after she takes over the business. With Yuzuki as by her side. Beast folk and human, the watcher and the watched. Ichika is saying that our relationship up until now has been wrong, that there hasn't been enough distance or caution between us. It makes me sad to hear her disavowing all of the time we've spent together in Unigicho. What I thought was close to me has been far out of my reach all along, and I feel frustration welling up inside of me.
ところで、罪を犯した獣人はどうなると思いますか？
Huh? I don't see how that has anything to do with what we're talking about right now.
獣人を普通の刑務所に収監することはできません。身体能力が高いですし、お守りも没収されるので、正体がバレてしまいますからね。
Then where do they... Oh, no, are you saying... It takes a beast folk to restrain a beast folk. You would need someplace hidden in order to maintain the secret of the beast folk's existence. A place that would work comes to mind.
ええ。現代において、獣人の里はそういう場所としても機能しているんです。そして正体がバレた場合も、人間社会で距離を取るのが難しいときは、里で暮らしてもらうんです。里なら人間には確かめようがありませんから。これが獣人の世界です。意外とうまくできていると思いませんか？
Ichika smiles happily as she explains the workings of beast folk society, as if she's revealing the details of a magic trick. But the contrast between her smile and the facts she's explaining is enough to send a chill up my spine.
私の役目は、獣人の社会を守ること、個人を守ることではありません。人間から獣人を守ることも、獣人から人間を守ることも、その一部でしかないんです。必要な時に必要な決断をします。それだけです。
Ichika says that with such cold detachment in her voice. It's like she's discarded all emotion.
もしゆずきさんが獣人社会に害をなす存在であれば、なんて今更でしたね。脅すようなことを言ってすみません。
She snickers a little at that. I know Ichika's laugh, and that's not it. It's more like something I'd expect from a villain in a movie.
イメージと違いましたか？優しそうなんてよく言われますけど、私はこういうことをしているんです。もし怖くなったら言ってください。
What, so you can erase his memories? Nah, you can't fool me. Is she asking if I'm scared of Beast Fox Society or of her?
夕凪町を離れることにはなりますが、記憶を消してもらって、獣人と関わりのないように暮らしてもらいますから。できるだけのことはします。だってゆずきさんは。
Ichika snaps her mouth shut before continuing. It's as if she's trying to swallow back the emotions attached to her words.
大事な友人ですから。大丈夫です。ゆずきさんならきっとすぐに素敵な人を見つけられると思いますよ。